So that's the hard part of this, right? The hard reset. I had to look in the mirror. Sometimes I was really good or really bad. And it's like what happens in the home stays in the home. And so we looked really good on the outside. We were a total mess. Marriage was a mess. Our relationships were a mess. My son had gotten to a point where he told his small group at 15 years old, I don't know if I ever want to have a relationship with my dad. What I've learned from Becca is children are a book to be read, not written. God already wrote that. I just said, son, I know I've screwed up. And I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm not going to quit.
Welcome back to A Hard Reset. We're kind of finishing out season 1 and just grateful for all the people that have been on the podcast, from old friends and new friends. And today's episode is a friend that I've known for 16 days now. I did the math this morning. How long have I known Dan and been friends with Dan? And it's 16 days. But what's really interesting about Dan is he was vulnerable and kind of brought up a little bit of his story. And I feel like that kind of ties in exactly with what we're doing here. And we're on the beach and the sun's setting and we're serving these families that are battling childhood cancer. And he was telling us a little bit about his story. And I'm like, man, I would love to ask you more questions. So I don't really know a whole lot of his story other than what he shared with me. So I'm very, very honored that he's here today. So ladies and gentlemen, Dan Gunyon, live from Cumming, Georgia.
Hey, Martin, it's great to be here with you. So we had some mutual friends on that trip, Julie and Tom Chef Shunis.
Shout out to the Chef family.
Yeah, and Horizon doing a great job up there, Horizon Christian. So went to get your kids up there, man.
Yeah.
But my younger two go there, and we knew it was going to be a great trip, and we had heard amazing things about you and your family. So I'm excited to be here with you, man. It's been a great 16 days, and I look forward to building that relationship.
Yeah, for sure. I love asking this question because I think it kind of sets up people for like who you are. But I have to know, Dan, like, what's your pet peeve? Like, what drives you crazy?
Oh, man. Trash in the sink. No, I'm kidding. I saw your podcast.
Yeah, you listen.
But I do get that when Becca does that too.
Yeah.
I have Dawn by the side of the sink. I let it go. I would have to say those on-ramp traffic lights. I saw them in Minneapolis, and I never thought I would see them here in Georgia. Oh. And I just don't like them. And until they have cameras on them, I'm not stopping at them.
You just go straight through
Just
them?
going through them.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, they are frustrating because eventually, like, the reason that they're on is because of to slow down traffic.
Yeah,
But as soon
and
as
I
you
don't
go
want to.
red, green, it's like, well, what's the point? Yeah. So what happens if someone's in front of you?
Well, I don't run through them. I can go around them, right?
But you're like running on the red.
Yeah, I'm going on the red.
I love that. Yeah, I go back and forth on my pet peeves, but my big thing is like chewing with your mouth open.
Ooh.
Yeah, that to me is like,
It's a no-no.
Yeah, it's a no-no. But also trash in the sink. And I have too many pet peeves, which I'm praying through and working through
right.
with God, which is a whole point of this. So
There you go.
I love asking this first question, and I kind of want to move away, like not move away, but ask, like, growing up as a kid, what did you think your life was going to look like? Or like, do you have a childhood memory of like your life and what it was or what you thought it was going to be moving forward, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So I wanted to be an inventor when I was little, according to my parents. So I liked to watch Little Rascals and Buckwheat. And so I was like identified with that.
Alfalfa, right?
Yeah. I haven't invented anything. So that didn't work out. But as I got older, I locked in on being a doctor. I don't know if I thought about like family or anything else. It was like, okay, I'm going to go be a doctor.
No way. What flavor doctor?
I hadn't really decided yet.
Okay.
So I didn't really, it didn't get that deep. It was just like, I'm going to go be a doctor. So
Okay.
I just set my classes up, took hard math and sciences all through high school, went to college.
Where'd you go to school?
University of Cincinnati.
Okay.
Go Bearcats.
Yeah, right? The Bearcats?
That's right. Yeah.
And did you do pre-med there?
I did. I was in pre-med for all of a year.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a lab partner in high school who loved to dissect things. And so I was like, cool, this isn't so bad. And then I got to college and I had a girl that didn't want to dissect things. And so I was doing it all. Oh. And I was like, oh, I actually don't like this, and started to get a little squeamish. And then I was getting B's and C's, and I was like, that's probably not good for med school GPA. So
Yeah.
I changed majors 4 or 5 times before I finally graduated.
What was your 4 or 5 changes? Pre-med.
Went into like a math in the arts college, to stayed in the arts college. Then I went and talked to the dean of engineering to figure out how to get into engineering. Got into electrical engineering. Physics got me there. And then finally transferred over to business college, and then heard about information systems, which was the liaison between tech and business.
Is it called MIT?
Yeah, MIS, MIT. There's several. Yeah,
Management Information Technology.
Systems technology.
Systems?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I finally settled that. My dad said, "I don't care what you do, just get a degree in computers, son." And so I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did it take you?
5 years.
Okay.
I had to pay him back for the 5th year.
Oh.
So
What did that teach you?
be a little more decisive.
Yeah. Dude, would you say that you're a little indecisive in your life, or like, did you feel the pressure to, like, I know when I went to college, I felt this pressure of like, I have to know what I'm going to do in high school so that I can go straight to college, so I can graduate in 4 years, so that I can get this job where I wear a suit and all of that. Did you have that same?
I think after I let go of the medical thing, I was like, I had no plan. It was just like, and my dad always told me, you're going to have to wear a tie one day, son. He was always like, one day, I can't wait. You're going to get into a job. And because I got that IT job, I got hired by my future father-in-law. So I married the boss's daughter. And in the interview, it wasn't him, but in the interview, the guy told me, take your tie off in the interview. We're informal. I took that job. I didn't interview one more place out of college.
Did you know that he was?
No, I didn't know her yet.
You didn't know
I didn't know
Becca,
Becca at all. She was in Young Life, full-time on staff. And then 2 years, I was there for 2 years. And then she came back and started working at the front desk. And then I had like a long-distance relationship, and she dumped me on Valentine's Day. My kids are like, Dad, that's a total L.
Oh, that is a huge L, as the kids
right.
say.
And then I was there on Saturday.
Is it because you didn't send flowers, or is it like?
Yeah, I don't remember, right? But I don't know. It didn't work out. God had other plans, right?
Yeah.
So I was there working on a Saturday. Well, what else are you gonna do, right?
Sure.
Down,
You're single.
You know? Single,
It's
down.
February 15th.
Yeah. Working there on a Saturday, right? So, and Becca's mom dared her to ask me out. Because
Becca's mom dared
she had been
her.
She dared her to ask me out. She's like, I think he's just shy. And so she asked me out, and I was like, here's my number. So I'm not smooth, bro. So, but yeah, and then that's how it started. 6 months later, we were married.
Do you remember what she said?
She asked me to go to a singles group, which was a breakout group for Louis Giglio's 722.
No way.
And I remember I get there, and I was nervous because you had to take your shoes off, go in the house, and I had a hole in my sock, and I'm trying to hide that baby. And the talk was about the 3 C's of marriage: cool factor, chemistry, and Christ compatibility. And I'm like, this is a complete setup, right?
Yeah.
And she's sitting there going, oh no, he's going to run. But we stayed together.
Yeah. So 722.
722 is where I got saved listening to Louis Giglio.
No way.
Yeah, she was missionary dating.
Yeah, of course. That's very strategic on her part. That's
Yeah.
incredible, because Tracy and I went to 722. I mean, growing up in Atlanta, I mean, not growing up, but I moved here in 1998, and it was like North Point was like the spot for 722 and all that.
Yeah.
My daughter just got back from Daytona with Passion City.
My son was there.
No way. Do y'all go to local church?
We go to a Restoration Church in Roswell.
Okay.
But he went with a friend to the Passion Conference in Daytona.
Okay.
Had an amazing experience.
Yeah. Well, David Crowder came out, which is nuts, singing praise and worship.
Yeah.
And then Louis Giglio apparently preached on Thursday.
Oh, man.
What a man and leader he is.
Yeah.
I always wanted to run into him and call him Louis Gigolo, just because, who has a name like that? And my conversation I've already planned in my head. I was like, you're Louis Gigolo, right?
Yeah.
And just see how he reacts to that.
Oh, that's funny.
So Restoration Church in Roswell, do you know the Sohn family?
We do. That's why we're there. They were the ones that told us about it, how great it was, and kept inviting us. Our older 3 were at Fidelis. So we went to school and did life with them. and still do. We're in a small group with them. Yeah.
No way.
They're amazing people. Yeah.
Wow. So I had coffee with him.
Oh,
I don't know if you
nice.
know this.
Okay,
But
I
Carter
don't.
came, his son,
Oh, wow.
and he wanted to get into he sent an email out to a bunch of different roofing companies, I think, where he wanted to learn how to cold call and knock on doors and things like that.
Right.
I feel myself very lucky that I've never had to knock on a door. People just say, "Hey, call Martin and he can check your roof out." Carter is just this incredible kid. I think if you asked anybody on my staff here, probably anyone that knows Carter, how incredible of a human that he is.
Oh, yeah.
And Steven is such a great dad, and he's a software guy too.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some good conversations around that. Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah.
Did you know that going in that I knew the Sones?
I did not.
Huh.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Wow. 16
We got a lot
days.
of connections,
Yeah.
bro.
We need to spend more time together. 16 days.
Yeah.
Do you have, either personally or professionally, do you have something that happened in your life that created maybe tension and created a hard reset where, like, I can't do this anymore and I've got to change my ways, and, something along that path that maybe could help someone that's watching this?
I'm going to call it that I suffered from something called socially acceptable anger.
Okay.
Right?
Can you break that down?
Yeah. So, you see that guy that's all huffing and puffing, waving the hands around, right, in an argument with his kids or his wife, or too intense on the ball field coaching, right? And you're like, oh, I wish they knew what they look like, or wish I could back them off, right? I'm an intense guy, right? I mean, we served together, and I saw you, and just everything I do is with intensity, right? I'm stubborn, so I don't do a lot of things unless I want to. But when I do it, it's everything I got. And I coach that way. I live life that way. And unfortunately, I did relationships that way without, having enough self-control. And so things would irritate me, right? And then it would just...
And would you shove it down?
No, I'm a verbal processor.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was brutal on the people around me. If I felt attacked, it would come out on others, right? And so back as a counselor, so she's a Christian counselor, has set up a Christian counseling center. So, I mean, and years of hearing kids on the other end of their parents and with not considering their words, right? And it's like the tongue, James, right? It's just tame the tongue. It can be a weapon.
Sure.
And mine was being used as a weapon, right? Against the people I loved. And I think at Lighthouse, we talked about, like, my first retreat that I went on was 8 years ago with my daughter.
And for some people that may not know, what is Lighthouse?
Lighthouse, it's an amazing nonprofit that strengthens families living through childhood cancer, right? So I was looking for something to bond with my daughter. I have 4 boys and a girl. And so I have an oldest son and then a daughter and then 3 more boys.
Is she, would your son say that she gets the preferential treatment in the family?
Oh yeah. I have a coffee mug that says, "My favorite daughter gave me this." Oh yeah. We treat the ladies like, I'm high on respect too.
Sure.
It's like we treat mom well. But I wasn't. So that's the hard part of this, right? Like the hard reset. I had to look in the mirror. I wasn't always. Sometimes I was really good or really bad, right? And it's like what happens in the home stays in the home. And so we looked really good on the outside. And we go to church. I was a deacon at churches, all this stuff. I looked really good, right?
Yeah.
Doing all the right stuff.
On paper.
Yeah. Yeah. We were a total mess. Marriage was a mess. Our relationships were a mess. And so I was I treated my daughter differently, right? It's like, I don't want to be harsh with I don't need to make her tough, right?
Right.
Well, guess who ended up very tough, right? So all my boys are really tough, right? Thankfully, because of other strong men that showed up in their lives that loved God. Ooh. And and my father-in-law and, my family, my dad, my brother, like everybody else was pouring in, right? So picking up the gaps. I just had so many blind spots, right?
Were you stressed out? I mean, it's stressful having 5 kids. I can only imagine.
5 kids is stressful. Becca's a dreamer, and I'm an organizer. And any dream I hear, I see 10 problems that need to be fixed before that can work out, right? And nobody wants me at the party when so I had to learn, like, don't say that. Just ask questions, right? And so my son's a lot like my wife in that. He's a dreamer. And so we just were like, I'm like, son, you got it. I'm like, what am I doing? So at Lighthouse, you put on your best, serving. Like you're in shorts and a t-shirt. It's fun. It's hot. It's out in the sun, but you're putting on everybody's trying to outserve each other. Right. And so for a week, it was just like in solid intensity. And I think my daughter just loved it. And we spent time together and bonded.
And it was just you two.
And it was just us two.
And how did you hear about it? Was it her idea, your idea?
It was through Gwinnett Church. So we were there with Jeff Henderson at the time when he was there, And so we were serving. I was serving with Upstreet. And so the crazy part is people would be like, Dan, I don't see it. He's on the floor with fourth graders and kindergartners are jumping all over him. I don't see it, right? So I could do it really good at times.
So you were living two different lives.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
I haven't seen that. I mean, obviously, 16
that's what people say. They're like, "There's no way."
I can't imagine you yelling.
Well, so that's the Holy Spirit. I am. The thing is, I'm not capable of living what you saw, right? And living like that, I'm not. So that's the cool part. Like, and that's where when I realized get my own flesh out of the way, I can, like, through Him, I can do all things, right? But my son had gotten to a point where he told his small group, at 15 years old, I don't know if I ever want to have a relationship with my dad.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
How did you hear about that?
From Becca.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And that was because of how hard you were on him? That was because of, like, how you treated him?
Yeah, I think it was, I was always, like, you see in your kids, you're like, you see so much potential in them, right? And you're like, you want to help them. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to help you maximize your potential. And Becca, what I've learned from Becca is children are a book to be read, not written. God already wrote that book.
Wow. Hold on. Okay. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. I think, I'm even reminded of my failure this morning as a father. And we went to the dentist and Hadley had, 2 cavities. And she's like, that'll be $532. And I'm just like thinking, like, how she is going to get to the car and she's going to be like, wow, Dad, thank you so much. I can't imagine. So we're driving and I'm like, do you remember how much that was? And she was like, $5,000. And I was like, okay. It wasn't $5,000. It was $532. And she's a kid. And like the dentist had already said,
right.
Like, it's not her fault. It's the way her teeth are shaped. It'd be really hard to have like perfect teeth. But I was writing the book for her instead of reading her book, because like she's 14, like she has time to figure out, like, if you go to the dentist and it's $500, like that's a lot of money and all that. I love that quote. Where's that quote from? Is it from Becca?
I don't know if that's a Becca original, but that's where I've heard it the most.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. It's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. It helps. Like, she's heard so many stories from the kid's voice of what their parents said, and she would tell me, you can't say that. They won't come home for Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh. So, I was so stressed. Money was a big deal. Like, money was a lot of it, right? You have 5 kids, and I didn't have this grand plan, and I'm like trying to figure it out. And things
were like 5 colleges, 5 weddings, 5 sports.
I was living too far in the future, right? And I forgot to live in today in those relationships, right? Yeah.
So your son would tell you those things, or he'd tell Becca those things, and then you would hear Becca say those things. And I'm guessing before, these moments that you're in now, were you pretty defensive?
Oh, insecure, defensive, angry. So there it comes, right? Like now I'm like, oh, great. And, but with my intensity, I'm like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm not quitting, right? And I think I read a book. I think Jeff Henderson mentioned it. Mark Batterson wrote a book called "Play the Man."
Oh, I've read the Prayer Circle.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't read "Play the Man."
Play the Man, and it was about him doing a year of discipleship with his. He had multiple kids. I don't know how many he had, but he tried to get them one-on-one and do a year of discipleship. And I was like, my son is 15 years. I don't have much. And Becca told me his junior year. I think I did this a little bit later, so that was around his junior year. And this
is your oldest son?
Yeah, this is the oldest still. He's 16, 17 years old, right? And it's Becca's like, it might be too late. but God. So,
Yeah.
so I read that book and I was like, all right, that's it. We're locking in that intensity. So I spent a year with him. We went to Braves games. We went to, every he's a sports guy, right? He played baseball in college. We went to everything I could think of, right? And I'm like, we're going to put money into this. We're going to do this. He didn't talk to me for 6 months. We went to the events and there was and I just sat there.
Wow.
Yeah. And just waited.
And he's just hardened.
Yeah. It's just, he's not opening up.
Yeah.
He's not really engaging with me. And he's super relational.
Yeah.
But
so
he's
just sat there.
Just sat there.
He didn't want to be there. Didn't want any part of it.
No, he loved it. No, he actually loved the events. He enjoyed the events. I could tell he wouldn't leave. Like he wouldn't leave, man. It'd be raining and at a Braves game, and it was just like, Dad, we're not leaving until the game's over, right? And everybody leaves the stadium. So we enjoyed the events. Then after 6 months, he finally started opening up to me, and I just said, son, I know I've screwed up, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not going to quit.
That's what we need in a dad. That's what I know that we have in a dad.
Yeah. God never gave up on me. And I married somebody who had enough faith for 7 people. So praise God for that.
Yeah. They always say like behind every good man is an even better woman.
Even stronger
like
woman.
I
Yes, sir.
fully I feel, I wonder how this is going to hit. But I feel like women are the superior race. And it's mainly because of what they can do with their bodies, which is just amazing to me, but also how calm they are, and also how they tell us in our weakest moments so gently.
Yeah.
At least with my woman, I've put her through the ringer, and our marriage is so much better now that, we've revealed some things in our past and worked through it a lot. And it's just amazing because I've known Becca also for 16 days now.
Yeah.
And you can tell how godly of a woman she is.
Oh, amazing.
Which is incredible. So, this might be too personal, but were you a big yeller?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, it was really good or really bad. When I would lose it, it was like everybody else paid for it. And I would not even sometimes remember everything I was saying. And she's a stuffer. So it would shut down the communication. So is my older son. He's a stuffer. And so my daughter, funny enough, is not an emotional processor. So she could dismiss the tones. And that's what I kept hearing. That 4-letter word became something I still dread. The tone, right? It's not what you're saying. It's the tone you're saying it with. Because I'm a truth person. So everybody's got to hear the truth, right?
Right.
And I had to learn, my truth may not be God's truth.
Have you done any study or read any of Kathleen Edelman's Temperaments?
Yes.
Where it talks about all the different colors and all
Reds.
that.
Yeah, I'm a red.
Yeah.
I call it pink now. So Becca has turned me pink. That's what we say.
I don't know if Kathleen would agree with that color choice, but Tracy is a red temperament as well. Okay. I'm a yellow, so I'm very
Becca's
much
yellow.
A dreamer,
Yep.
and which is why I think I loved Becca. And Becca immediately told me, and she may not even remember this, but she told me she had a weakness, right?
Okay.
She was like, my weakness is details and scheduling and all of those things. And I was like, man, the humility that this family is showing, just watching you serve people, and also watching her serve people and your daughter.
Yeah.
And it's the story that I was telling myself was way different than, the behind closed doors Dan that you had mentioned when you were kind of being raw and authentic and real and talking about your hard reset.
Yeah.
So it took 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm sure after every time you yelled, you apologized,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that just kind of eventually, I guess, fell on deaf ears.
I think it resonated more with my kids, but on Becca's ears, it was definitely I've heard this before. I've heard that, so the kids are really resilient. If you tell them you're not going to quit and you say you're sorry, right? And then repent, right? Becca's what are you going to do different? So, I'm
not going to lose my cool again.
Yeah,
I promise.
Well, I have counselors, I'm on a good, run right now. I'm on a monthly, I need to go once a month, right? Anytime Becca's hey, and I'm yes, I'm starting to, I'm not able to get my flesh out of the way as much, right?
Sure.
Okay. Work stress goes up, right? Like all life happens.
Yeah.
And so, so it's, call it a life coach, whatever. If you don't like counseling, just call it a life coach and go to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like that's.
I had my therapist on a couple weeks ago.
There you go.
On the podcast.
Yeah.
And Tracy and I share them, but I basically call them mine. But anytime I'm battling like something hard, whether it's personally, professionally, she's like, hey, you should go talk to Ed about this.
Yeah.
Because we all need coaches. Yeah. And I tried to tell this to my staff the other day is when Scotty Scheffler was at Augusta National last year, not this year, but last year, and he's about to win the tournament on Sunday, and he's got a 4 or 5 shot lead. He's literally got his coach standing behind him, making sure that when he goes out and plays 18 holes that day, and he's already just smoking everyone, he's still got a coach there coaching him up and making sure that his swing is fine and
that's right.
and all of that. And I think the men in general, it's really hard for us to ask for help because we're from the school of hard knocks, and we have to be. We have to be able to get through life, and you just rub dirt on it. You don't cry. You don't get emotional.
Yeah.
And if you can break that barrier down.
Yeah.
And not have to go. My dad's dad, my granddad, who I loved, and my middle name is named after him. He never told my dad that he loved him or that he was proud of him.
Right.
And that's hard. And that generation was like not pouring into us to say like, hey, you should go and talk to someone.
Yeah.
So you're a monthly kind of talking to a person. So like, what was that trend? Like, what was the moment that happened where you're just like, I'm not going to be a yeller anymore? I get it. Was there like this huge?
I think the Lighthouse experience, people kept calling me Lighthouse Dan and Lighthouse Daniel. They're like, can we have Lighthouse Daniel here? And they're like, we've seen you do it now. And then like we kept going back every year. And then some of the brothers one brother would come with us. And then the whole family went and they saw me and they saw that intensity that I was serving and out serving. And just like, you and I were like, you were messing with me. Like, hey, you missed me,
No, I
bro.
wasn't, because I was
awesome.
watching you though.
But it was awesome, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like we were guys bowing up and going, we're going to out serve each other. And it was awesome. And my brother-in-law was there doing it with us. So,
without his sleeves.
He's next level, man. He's next level. So I think just they saw it and then they're like, we want that.
Yeah.
And then, and I've shared, like, I've done some workshops with Becca about, and I'm like, this is hard because they don't want to hear it. Right. They especially if they're successful in work, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But then this resonates. I was training up young people out of college and they would hear me talk to my team on Zoom calls and one-on-one through the pandemic and all this stuff. And they would be like, can we have a one-on-one with you? Can we have those types? And I was laughing with them. And I'm like, if you treated your family or if you treated the people at work like you treat your family, would you be fired? And I was like, so that I say that now, like, and I had to really wrestle with that.
Why are we so much harder on the people we love the most? Like, I catch myself, like, I'll be so kind to the girl or guy checking me out of Publix, but then I'll get home and I'll be short fused, or I won't have a great tone, or I'll get frustrated with them. Why is that?
Gosh, this is a tough one. I had to learn how to evaluate where I was at. So I started journaling, right? So you asked me, is there a hard reset? It's like, no, this is a hard journey.
Yeah.
When you're an intense guy that kind of lets go, it's not easy. It's like taming a lion, right? Like, it's not going to be easy. Yeah. But I had to start journaling, and I had to do 10 things I was thankful for. So I was a very pessimistic person. So I had to, one was, what are my thoughts? I had to take those captive. And then I had to, that worked and that helped, but then I still needed more. So I created an anxiety. I realized anxiety is what's causing the anger, right? Like, and I had to get in, like, figure out, like, what am I anxious about? And guys don't want to say that. That doesn't sound tough, right?
For sure.
But I made Becca go deal with her anxiety. I was like, you got to deal with your anxiety. She did. And then guess what? I had way more anxiety than she ever has in her life. So I had to deal with it. And then I have a simmer meter. So I was like, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? I write this every morning. Am I a 0? I don't get to 0.
Yeah.
There's no 0.
That
right?
sounds like
Only place I get to 1 and 1 on the simmer and the anxiety is at Lighthouse.
no way.
Everything else I'm like, okay, but if I'm at like a 3 on the anxiety meter and a 4 on the simmer, I better be very prepared for the next comment to walk away before I do anything. I need to pray before I say anything. So it gives me an awareness to go, you're not in a good state to respond appropriately to something that might come at you right now. So I had to really just be more aware of where I was at so that I didn't unfairly dish out something to somebody else that they didn't deserve.
Okay, so you're on this journey. Was there a moment that you remember specifically of like catching yourself, or do you catch yourself now where you have, I have started journaling as well and putting my thoughts to paper, which also reminds me in my conversations and to control the tongue. Cause just like James, like you can control and any animal on planet, but like the hardest thing to control is our tongue. Right. But is there like what do you do in the moment where you catch yourself above a simmer and you're like, oh, I need to like not go back to old Dan? How do you get to Lighthouse Dan?
Walking, getting up, getting out of my chair, moving away. I have to get away. Right. Sometimes and I'm like, I need a moment. And so then sometimes Becca would be like, I want to talk through it. And I'm like, this is not a good time. And I've learned how to say it with a good tone, finally. That took a long time. And then I would just walk away, and people let me. And I have to do it less and less now, but I had to do that. And then listening to praise music. Like I will just literally go sit on my bed and just put on headphones and just listen to praise music.
Who's your guy right now or girl?
I mean, the Lighthouse song. That's one of my favorites.
Lighthouse. You're like such a Lighthouse homer.
I know. I can't help it, man. It made such a big impact on our life. But I just go find playlists out there and just kind of like Calmer. I don't know that I have a favorite, just all of them, any of them. Just let them wash over me, man.
That Josiah Queen right now he's my guy. And the line that he has written, I think he's a singer-songwriter, but we've got dust on our Bibles and brand new iPhones, and we wonder why we feel this way. Right? Yeah. Because kids are more anxious now, and kids are, I have an obsession with my phone where I just now started, like, I'm not going to check my email on my phone. I've deleted the app, I deleted it from my home screen because I just caught myself like being that. So I used to not make fun of my wife, but I used to like get in her car and she always had the fish on. And I'm like, let's listen to country music. Like, I don't understand like why, we're always listening to that. And God has really softened my heart for that. And now it's like you get in my office and, people change the music because I have praise and worship going on in here all the time because it just like kind of chills me out because I am a very intense guy.
So we got some similar. We got a lot of common ground here, man.
We do. It's funny. I knew a guy that said that him and his son were just like going at it, and his son was 13 and all he wanted to be was like a man and be 18. And he said one night, like, instead of just yelling at him, he went outside and ran like basically sprints up a mountain until he couldn't do it anymore because he was so frustrated and was afraid that he was going to lose, his family at that moment. And I think so much of our lives, like as men, like we get angry and we think like we lead with force. Like you will do it this way. And so much of our relationship with our Heavenly Father is how our dads treat us. So then I look at that relationship with me as a dad to Harper and Hadley, and they're inferring how I treat them, how God treats them. And that is powerful imagery for me to be a constant reminder of like, God calls us to love and to not write the book for them, to read their book and to coach them up and consult them, not be the cop that's just constantly like looking back. Now that you're on the other side of this, is there anything you wish someone would have said to you?
The Holy Spirit will sound a lot like your wife until you get your pride out of the way.
Oh,
yeah. I think one of the biggest things I like, and I don't know when I came to this conclusion and realization, and this is why, like, Becca told me, like, I could have buried you sometimes. Like, I didn't fight back with you, and I didn't use my words because she said, I could tell you didn't love yourself. And so I think wrestling with that, it's like, you can't love other people if you don't first know how to love yourself. So I had to learn to accept God's love so that I could pour that out on my kids. I mean, I say stuff to my boys. I walk up and give them big hugs, and I'm like, you're God's special treasure. How soft does that sound? But how much do you think that puffs them up inside?
Sure.
And it's weird. If you haven't done stuff and then all of a sudden you start trying this stuff, it's going to be weird, but you just got to stick with it. So.
Yeah. Do they get tired of you telling them that?
No. They're leading other men. Yeah. They're challenging me now. They're leading younger kids in Bible studies and stuff. Wow. And I told you, Becca had enough faith for 7 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So they're challenging me to go, Dad, what groups are you in? I'm like, okay.
Are you in a men's group?
I am not right now. I go to church and pray.
Yeah.
I started I'm trying to add things in, right?
Well, as they say, iron sharpens iron.
That's right.
And that's been really powerful. We have a small group that meets here every Friday at 6 a.m. actually.
Nice.
And what we were talking about journaling, and one of the guys is like, well, tell me about journaling. And another guy's like, I've been journaling since college. One guy just started. Yeah. I've kind of gone on and off. And another guy was like, I have never journaled in my life. And he is one of the most godly men I know.
Wow.
So I went and got a journal for him and gave it to him during that. And I'm like, hey man, like journaling is so good to like write down your thoughts. I don't know why it's so good, but at any time that I do it and write reflections, and sometimes it's about work and sometimes it's about like how God's talking to me and going through. I mean, it's just incredible to do that. What would you say that your life has been like since this hard reset that you've been going through?
Way more peaceful and less anxious. I'm learning to just let go of work. Whether I have a job or not doesn't define me, and letting go of that stress. Whether I have a huge retirement plan doesn't define me. Just letting go of that. Like, I'm not gonna quit working. I'm a hard worker. Like, that's just who I am. So just let go and enjoy. Just live in today. Live in the relationships. Right.
How does that happen in the corporate world? Right, you're in software. Like, how do you live that lighthouse stand in the corporate world?
Yeah, so I'm actually in leadership. So it's not. I'm not. You have to be a little cognizant of proselytization, like not just letting people be who they are. But I would say I kind of live out what the Young Life philosophy was. Preach the gospel always, and when necessary, use words. So it's like how you treat people.
Yeah.
And we have a culture of everybody treating each other with respect and making sure that the quietest person in the room gets to talk, and they might have the best idea. So just really, loving on. It's just loving on people.
Yeah, man, that's really incredible. For a guy that's battling his anger right now, and maybe has lost his family, and what advice would you give him to kind of maybe today start that hard reset?
Pray. Pray. That's the strongest thing. I said this down at Lighthouse. The strongest thing men can do is pray. Right. And then I coach I've coached teams, and I'm a really good coach to other people, just not to myself.
Yeah.
So find one that can help you. Just be a good coach to yourself, and let go of the results. Right. So you're going to change your behavior, and you're going to start doing things differently, but people aren't going to trust it. So don't let the results stop you, right? The results are, how does somebody respond to you? And I would say this, one thing that, like, somebody said this to me early on in my marriage. What do you look like when you come in the door? Are you expecting a fight, or do you smile? So how you approach somebody how people are responding to you may be because of what you're expecting. So expect, but it may not happen right away, right? It's going to take hard work, and let people, give people space, and just keep on keeping on. Don't quit.
Yeah. I used to think that like arguments were meant to be won.
Yeah.
Especially with my wife, who I love more than anything, is like we would argue and then I would be so defensive and so combative because I thought like an argument was meant to be won. And this isn't throwing shade on my parents, but I never really saw my parents argue. So I didn't really know how to argue. And any argument I saw would be on the ball field or like with other families. And I just thought like whoever raised their voice more or like winning that battle. And it wasn't until God like softened my heart. It's like, it's not about winning the argument. It's about listening to what the other one is saying and providing that clarity, right?
Yeah, Becca would say, she would hit me with this one. Do you want to win or do you want a relationship?
And as a competitive man,
I actually want both. Yeah. I want to win and I want a relationship.
Is that even possible?
Yeah.
All right, Dan. Well, I'm first of all grateful that you made the time to tell your story. And I know this is going to help someone. If someone's battling right now, they've lost their kids and they, how do they get in touch with you?
You can get my cell phone.
Awesome.
I'm not a social media. I do LinkedIn, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Get my cell phone. I'll be happy to help anybody. There's a book that we've got. I've given
tell us about the book.
Martin a copy. It's called Fairy Tales to Forgiveness. So Becca chronicled her journey through this. And they said, this is great, but we need Dan's thoughts in here. So they made me go back and write what I was thinking all throughout.
So you're a published authher, but
I didn't want to put my name on it. I'm not an author. So, but yeah, and we'll give it out. If anybody needs it, we're happy to share.
Man,
and if it would help,
How hard was it for her to write the book? Like, it
took years. It was years after, like, where it's like, okay, things look like they're hopeful. She said she always believed there was hope. So, I mean, there was one point where she took the kids and left and said, I'm not dealing with this. Like, I'm not subjecting the kids to this.
Oh, wow.
That was a few years back, like early. Probably Owen, my oldest, was probably like 8 years old. My mother-in-law was at the house and he ran out of the house. It was just this whole ordeal. And I came home to this and she's like, I'm not going to subject it. I love you. I will never divorce you. I'm not going to subject the kids to this anymore. Wow. And the first day I was like, it's quiet. This isn't so bad.
Yeah.
Second day I was like, what did I do? Third day I called her crying and I was like, I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's just, there's a lot in there that
for sure.
And there's a lot of hard resets in there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure did she go to her in-law?
Yeah, she went to her parents. Yeah.
So then you had to look her father-in-law in the eye and
I'm sure that was fun. A lot of humility.
Yeah, it's funny in our humility. And I think that's what's so great about this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Is because in our humility, in our shame, there is peace and helping others that have been through what you've been through. You say, like, I've looked my father-in-law in the eyes and said, I'm sorry that I treated his wife or his daughter the way, and his grandkids.
Yeah.
I mean, that shame, and humility that you probably had to deal with was powerful enough to get you to the moment that you're in now where like people experience you as Lighthouse Dan.
And I would say, to answer your question, I would just say to anybody that's lost a lot and is struggling, God loves you no matter what you've done, no matter where you're at. God loves you, man.
Yeah.
So
it's powerful, Dan.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for making the time. We end our podcast for some reason with a high five. So
awesome.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Man, I loved Dan's realness and authenticity on that episode. It's funny, when I was talking to Megan, who helps me produce the show, I was kind of telling her, like, as we're winding down the season, I have these two completely different stories. One is about anger and one is a different. And she's like, let's have the anger episode on. Because as men, especially as men, we lose our cools I have a very short fuse and I'm working on that. But to hear a story from a guy who basically lost his family and whose family, his wife's like, I'm gone. Like, I'm out of here. I'm not going to divorce you, but like, we can't live this way. What a powerful testimony to who he is, because I can tell you, only knowing him for 16 days, I could never understand how he could yell, because he's like the sweetest soul. And he would always, I would just watch him. Like I have this terror. I love people watching. Like my dream job would be to like sit at the Atlanta airport and just like write down and people watch. But I would watch him walk around Lighthouse and just grabbing everyone's plate and serving not only the families that are battling childhood cancer, but those of us that are serving other people. And he just did it over and over and had the humility. So I'm grateful for Dan and for Becca. This is their book. You can see down here that Dan is not a part of this book as far as a published author, but he is actually a published author secretly inside this book, but would really recommend you reading that. And we can put a link to this, I'm sure, in the bio so that you can probably get this on Amazon.com. And lastly, this episode was brought to you by Reset Roofing, and we are so grateful for you guys that are buying roofs and roof repairs and gutters and painting and all the things that you buy from us so that it could help me with this passion project that I love so much and feel so much. Every week I'm getting a message from someone that says like, thank you so much for sharing, or that story was powerful. I resonate with that. I know people and men are going to resonate with this. So if you could help us by subscribing to these shows so you'll get notifications that when we're coming, or recommend a roofing company like Reset Roofing to your friends and neighbors. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.